working to connect a region of over 600 million bridges between our lands.
Hello and welcome to ASEAN in Focus. I'm Judith Limera delivering to you the latest news in and around the ASEAN region on today's headlines. The death toll from a powerful earthquake that rocked Indonesia's remote Maluku Islands has risen to 23. The disaster agency said Friday as more than 15,000 people were evacuated to shelters. The Ninja Cop syndicate, or those involved in the recycling of seized illegal drugs, have been dismantled according to the Philippine National Police or PNP, Malacanang said on Thursday. And ASEAN takes measures to enhance trade in prepared foodstuff products. The death toll from a powerful earthquake that rocked Indonesia's remote Maluku Islands has risen to 23. The disaster agency said Friday as more than 15,000 people were evacuated to shelters. Terrified residents ran into the streets as buildings fell in and around them, with a 6.5 magnitude tremor sparking landslides that buried at least one victim on Thursday. Among the confirmed dead was an infant, with many killed by falling debris in and around quake-struck Ambon City. More than 100 people were also injured, and at least 15,000 people had to evacuate because their houses were damaged by the strong jolt, Wibowo said. Hundreds of houses, offices, schools, and public facilities have also been damaged in the disaster. Authorities have set up emergency tents and public kitchen for the evacuees in several districts. The U.S. Geological Survey said the quake struck about 37 kilometers, or 23 miles northeast of Ambon in Maluku province at a depth of 29 kilometers. The Southeast Asian archipelago is one of the most disaster-prone nations on Earth. It experiences a frequent seismic and volcanic activity due to its position on the Pacific Ring of Fire, where tectonic plates collide. Last year, a 7.5 magnitude quake and a subsequent tsunami in Palu on Sulawesi Island left more than 4,300 people dead or missing. Nearly 60,000 people are still living in makeshift accommodation, nearly a year after the double disaster, the Red Cross said this week. Meanwhile, the Ninja Cop syndicate, or those involved in the recycling of seized illegal drugs, have been dismantled according to the Philippine National Police or PNP, Malacanang said on Thursday. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo said the PNP Chief General Oscar Albayalde bared this after briefing President Rodrigo Duterte on the status of the campaign against illegal drugs.
And he told me that he updated the president on the status of the drug war. He told him about the so-called Ninja Cop syndicate and revealed to the president that that Ninja Cop syndicate is a thing of the past that happened during the previous years of the previous administration. That has been dismantled during the term of former PNP Chief General, now Senator Ronald De La Rosa, and during his term.
Panelo said while the Ninja Cops syndicate has been wiped out, police calawags remain.
Precisely, you're referring to the Ninja Cop that was a syndicate during the previous administration. Yes, but we have police scalawags still involved in the drug thing.
He meanwhile maintained the difference between Ninja Cops and police scalawags, with the former being part of a syndicate and the latter operating individually.
Ang difference daw is yung Ninja Cop it was a syndicate sindikato. Kung baga talagang may conspiracy. May mga link ang bawat isa. Pero itong mga police scalawags, kanya-kanya. Kanya-kanyang kita. Pag nakakaamoy na po pwede silang kumita, ginagawa nila. Kumbaga mga individual cases. Walang conspiracy among themselves.
The palace official said Albayalde has assured Duterte that his agency has undertaken operations against these ninja cops, which yielded 124 policemen killed during entrapments and 100 others arrested.
And secondly, the high is different. Mas maganda yung high.
Earlier, Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency or PDEA Director General Aaron Aquino said a total of 53 active police officers have been named ninja cops. Aquino said the list of ninja cops came from Baguio City. Mayor Benjamin Magalong, former chief of the PNP's Criminal Investigation Detection Group or the CIDG. Asked to comment on the difference between Albayalde and Aquino's conflicting statements, Panelo refused to take sides. Panelo said he personally believed Albayalde for having developed a reputation for a man of integrity. However, he also acknowledged that there were still some ninja cops left to wipe out. He said the list of ninja cops has to be validated by the president himself. The palace official vowed to make public a list of names of the police scalawags. Meanwhile, Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte and U.S. President Donald Trump have a mutual admiration for each other, Malacanang said on Thursday. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo said the two leaders had the same leadership style, which is why they share respect for each other. In a September 25th tweet, Foreign Affairs Secretary Teodoro Teddy Boy Locsin Jr. said Trump conveyed his regards to Duterte, whom he called Frank Sinatra. The U.S. President recalled Duterte's rendition of Ikaw during Manila's hosting of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations or the ASEAN Summit in 2017. Asked to comment on Locsin's story, Panelo said he thinks the President Duterte loves him too. Duterte was elected into office in June 2016, while Trump was elected in December 2016.
But we've had a great...
Hi, good morning, sir.
Answering any...
You know, if you recall, the style of the president was much earlier than Trump. Bago pa nagkaroon ng Trump, may Duterte na eh. Nagulat nga tayo lahat na ganun din ang style. O siyempre, pag ganyan pareho yung style nyo, hindi mayroon kayong mutual admiration society.
Panelo meanwhile said he would personally ask Duterte what he thought about Trump's remark. In other news, the executive branch needs cooperation with other branches of government to ease the traffic congestion in Metro Manila, Malacanang said on Thursday. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo made this remark in response to a report by the Asian Development Bank or the ADB, which showed that Metro Manila is the most congested city in Asia. The report found that among cities with a population greater than 5 million, the Philippines transport system had a congestion value of 1.5, when the average congestion of all sampled cities was at 1.24. Panelo said President Rodrigo Duterte has long been asking for emergency powers to address the traffic woes, but Senate continues to doubt the administration's commitment to ensure it is free from abuse and corruption.
Hindi ba sinabi ni Presidente, gusto kong gawa ng paraan, ayaw niya naman. Di ba?
The palace official said the executive branch could not work alone when it came to addressing the traffic problem.
Kailangan kasi all branches must cooperate with each other. Hindi pa pwedeng isang branch lang ng gobyerno ang mamamahala at tutugon sa pangangailangan ng mga kababayan natin. Otherwise, talagang mahirapan.
Panelo said he was hopeful that ongoing infrastructure projects such as San Miguel Corporation's plan to build a 10-lane elevated expressway that would run the length of Epifanio de los Santos Avenue or EDSA and ease the traffic in Metro Manila.
Hopefully, gaya na sinabi ko sa inyo, yung proposal ni Mr. Ramon lang, maganda yan. Pag nagawa niya yun in 2 years, walang traffic ang EDSA.
He said measures to improve the traffic condition will be discussed during the next cabinet meeting.
$1 billion worth.
So, sir, what about your conjunction?
Pag-uusapan sa
When visiting the Philippines, Manila or Quezon City is a popular destination. But oftentimes the hustle and bustle of the city can be more stressful on your vacation. So when you feel the need to reconnect to nature or relax again, there's a beautiful oasis just outside of the city called the Garden at Ciudad de Victoria. Some of the species that you can see here include hydrangea, snapdragon, and stargazers. They're truly beautiful. The gardens at Ciudad de Victoria are so peaceful, tranquil, and beautiful that it's become a haven for young couples and a very popular venue for engagement photos. The next time you want an escape from the big city, the garden at Ciudad de Victoria is a wonderful place to visit.
Welcome back. 30 participants representing ASEAN food safety regulators participated in a workshop on the development of standard operating procedures, or the SOPs, for the implementation of the Mutual Recognition Agreement, or the MRA, on prepared foodstuff products, or PF, held in Singapore on the 25th to 27th of September. The participants made progress in finalizing the draft SOPs, setting the stage for the adoption of the procedures by the end of the year by the Joint Sector Committee of the MRA on PF that oversees the implementation of the MRA. The MRA on PF is aimed at enabling food safety regulators in ASEAN to recognize each other's food inspection and certification systems and food hygiene in order to facilitate the intra-ASEAN trade in prepared foodstuff products. The MRA stipulates that member states adhere to relevant harmonized ASEAN technical guidelines as annexed in the MRA to assure food hygiene requirements are met and enable mutual recognition of inspection and certification results. Meanwhile, as China marked its 70th founding anniversary with a list of milestones it achieved over the last 7 decades, Chinese Ambassador Zhao Zhenhua said Beijing would continue sharing the benefits of their progress with partners, including the Philippines. The envoy shared that China is now the Philippines' top trading partner, the largest source of imports and exports market, as well as the second largest tourist source. In 2018, its bilateral trade volume reached $55.7 billion, with an 8.5% year-on-year increase. China has also become one of the largest foreign investment origins of the Philippines, with an amount of $66.62 million last year, nearly 12.5% increase from 2017. More than 1.2 million Chinese tourists have also visited the Philippines last year. Among others, Zhao noted the considerable progress made in synergizing the Belt and Road Initiative and the Build program of the Philippines. The Chico River Pump Irrigation, New Centennial Water Source, Kaliwa Dam, and the Philippine National Railway's South Long Haul are being pushed forward at a steady pace and will contribute to the development of agriculture and transportation in the Philippines, he said. More than a dozen flagship infrastructure projects are in the pipeline to be completed in the next few years, he added. Zhao said Beijing would maintain its revived partnership and friendly relations with the Philippines, which were previously turned sour over the territorial dispute in the South China Sea. It is their belief that South China Sea is not the sum total of China-Philippine relations, nor disputes the sum total South China Sea issue, he said. From the fifth China trip of President Rodrigo Duterte last month, Zhao said significant progress was seen in Beijing and Manila's cooperation. Both sides once again reached important consensus on deepening mutually beneficial cooperation in various fields and boosting their common development, Zhao said. In other news, Korea is set to conduct an on-site inspection and accreditation of new poultry manufacturing facilities in the Philippines following the resumption of chicken exports to South Korea. This was announced on Monday during a meeting between Agriculture Secretary William Dar and the official delegation from the Korean Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs. The accreditation comes more than 2 months after the lifting of the ban on the import of poultry and pet birds from the Philippines on July 4, 2019. It will also pave the way to resumption of the market access of Philippine duck meat and poultry eggs to Korea. Dar expressed his gratitude to the Korean government for lifting the suspension of Philippine chicken meat to Korea and wished for the earliest dispatch of the on-site inspection team. To facilitate the exports of Philippine chicken to Korea, the Korean government will dispatch its audit team to the Philippines to conduct on-site inspection of 3 new Philippine poultry manufacturing facilities that confirmed readiness for inspection and interest to apply accreditation for chicken meat exports to Korea this year. With the assistance from the National Meat Inspection Service, or the NMIS, the Bureau of Animal Industry, or the BAI, Korea is set to inspect the facilities in Davao City, Batangas, and La Union. Korea's chicken imports in 2018 reached 140,000 metric tons. It is projected to increase to 145,000 metric tons this year due to continuous increase in the demand for processed chicken products and the cheaper price for imports compared to domestic chicken.
Tinatawagan ng mga persons with disability at senior citizens. Nais nyo ba na makasiguro na makabubuto kayo sa Accessible Polling Place o EPP Ngayon, inayanan kayo na mag-update ng inyong record sa pamamagitan ng pagpilat ng supplementary data form.
Sa pamamagitan ng supplementary data form, maipapaalam ninyo ang inyong disability at kinakailangang tulong sa araw ng eleksyon. Dito nyo rin maipahahayag kung nais ninyong bumoto sa accessible polling place.
Kaya kung nais ninyo maging accessible ang inyong pagboto sa araw ng eleksyon, mag-update na kayo ngayong registration period.
Pumunta lang sa opisina ng election officer sa inyong lugar mula Lunes hanggang Sabado o sa mga satellite registration.
Welcome back. Russia is eyeing new fields of trade and investment cooperation with the Philippines as they seek to diversify economic relations between the two countries. This time, they decided to focus on several sectors including pharmaceuticals and medical equipment, infrastructure, mainly airport development, railways. They also decided to learn on deepening cooperation in the power sector including energy. Visiting Russian Deputy Minister of Industry and Trade Alexei Gruzdev said in a press conference on Wednesday, co-organized by the Presidential Communications Operations Office of the Global Media Affairs. Gruzdev said the two-day visit in Manila from September 24 to 25th also aimed to diversify trade and economic relations. The Russian official, who is also co-chairman of the Joint Russia-Philippines Commission on Trade and Economic Cooperation, hopes that this visit would evolve into contracts, agreements, and joint cooperation. Gruzdev added the Russian government would like to share its expertise in railroad and underground construction with the Philippines, as their country is one of the leading in the sector, adding that Russia has about 85,000 kilometers of railways stretched in the state. This could also be a means to help in the Duterte administration's Build program, Gruzdev noted. He also said the two-way trade between Russia and the Philippines is developing quite rapidly. During his two-day visit, the Russian official attended meetings with top officials of the Department of Health, Department of Transportation, Department of Trade and Industry, and more than 15 companies from the business sector. Meanwhile, a Russian ambassador to the Philippines, Igor Kobayev, said during the same press conference that Gruzdev's visit in the country was very useful and timely, as President Rodrigo Duterte is set to visit Russia for the second time from October 1st to 5th. And that is the latest news in the Southeast Asian nations. Stay updated about the ASEAN region. I'm Judith Yamera, and I'm on with 25.